If there's one ingredient I think we all underestimate, it's lentils. They're humble, they're cheap, they sit quietly in the back of the cupboard waiting to be used, but they are honestly one of the most powerful foods you can add to your meals. Not only are lentils packed with plant-based protein and fiber, which means they keep you full, support gut health and help stabilize your energy, they're also rich in iron, folate and essential minerals that so many of us don't get enough of. And the best part, they're incredibly versatile. You can turn them into cozy soups, rich curries, hearty salads, even sauces that feel surprisingly indulgent. So in this video I'm sharing my absolute favorite lentil recipes, the ones I come back to again and again. So whether you already love lentils or you're not quite convinced yet, I think this might change your mind. Hey, if you're new here, my name's Imi and I try to make a lot of videos that's as helpful for you as possible. So if you're into food, sustainability, living slow, or just taking up a few more hobbies, then feel free to subscribe, but only if you want to. Oh, and I am doing a series about getting in the best shape of my life, so if that interests you, again, feel free to subscribe. Okay, grab a cup of tea and let's get into it. The first recipe is a 10-ingredient lentil bolognese, and I wanted to highlight this as one of my hero recipes for lentils because it's very easy to put together. It does take a little bit of time, but that's mostly once you've cooked everything and you allow it to cook down for at least 25 minutes. But as I said, this is one of the easier recipes, especially if you like a heavier pasta dish or a really rich sauce. Some of the ingredients in this that make it so delicious are the tomato paste and how much you use, the red wine that cooks down, and the simple but effective seasonings. This is also a recipe I love to meal prep because it freezes incredibly well. I've always had really good luck with lentils. Their texture doesn't really change when you freeze them, so when you defrost them they can be a really helpful meal, especially for like a weekday dinner or something where you don't have as much time. This recipe has a lot of really deep flavors because you're cooking it for quite a long time, and if you're trying to reduce your meat intake or just include a few more vegetarian recipes into your weekly routine, then I would definitely encourage you to give this one a try. At this point, I think I've lost count how many times I've made this recipe, and I always reach for it if it's in the freezer. I made this lentil recipe again last night, and the only thing I did differently was I boiled some pasta. I used shells because I really like it when the sauce sort of gets in the pasta and it kind of is like a whole bite in itself. But what I did was I mixed it all together and I baked it in the oven for about 20 minutes. And honestly, it changes the texture a little bit, it bakes it for a little bit longer. It's just a fun, different way to have a lentil bolognese, but I'm having it as leftovers again today because honestly, it's becoming one of my absolute favorite ways to have lentils. Now, if you're a fan of curries, then this recipe is a very easy and straightforward recipe, but it packs a lot of flavor. This is a good one, especially for the lentil haters, because my friend Houston, this is one of the recipes that I made for him when he came to stay, and he has actually made this, I think 10 times, he said, in the last month. So as someone who did not like legumes before, you can tell that this was a recipe that really converted him. One of the things I really like about this recipe is that it mostly uses stuff from your cupboard. So there are only a couple of things that you need to get from the supermarket, like aromatics, and these can also be prepped ahead and frozen in blocks, just to make your life a little bit easier if you want to have some food prep to make that weekday dinner much easier and quicker. I probably haven't posted about this salad very often, but this is something I make on repeat constantly. For me, it's something very easy to put together. Some kale, any vegetables, or even fruit, olives, anything I have on hand. I'll throw it into a salad with at least one kind of protein, like a lentil. Lentil's really great because it has a lot of protein and fiber and carbs, so it gets all of those things together. I like to massage the kale just to break it down a little bit. I find that it tastes a lot nicer, and I find that the texture of it is so much better as well. I'm a big fan of Greek salad, so I just kind of base some of the things off that, and I would try to make a Greek salad if I had all the ingredients for that first. But I did start making this salad because I can add in the lentils and it fits really nicely with the rest of the salad texture and ingredients. To be honest, I use most salads as a vehicle to have a tahini dressing because tahini dressings are so delicious, and I think that they make any salad so much more tasty. For me, I will usually put in a bunch of tahini. I don't really measure, lots of lemon juice, some ice cold water, salt, pepper, and if I have it on hand, maybe a little bit of maple syrup if I want that sweetness, or I'll leave it out and I'll just have it as is. And then I will mix it up really nicely, and if it's a bit thick, I'll add some more water and just make sure it's really pourable. For me, this is something that can sit in the fridge and be used, but to be honest, I basically use it as soon as I've made it. This salad is not like a proper recipe, it's just something I like to make or throw together with some olive oil and my tahini dressing. I recently decided I needed to branch out with my lentil recipes because there are quite a few that I love and will make on repeat. But this year, one of my biggest goals is to try as many new recipes as possible and new flavors. And of course, when I was looking for lentil recipes that I could share with you, I decided to look up some of the most viral ones to see if they were worth the hype and if they were going to be really delicious. And one of the most popular lentil recipes I saw were these smashed tacos by Derek Sarno. Derek Sarno is a professional chef. I met him once actually in London when he was doing a kind of influencer event with Tesco's because he created a whole range there. So you kind of expect his recipes not only to be really good, but kind of elevated in a professional chef kind of way. And honestly, I was not surprised that these tacos were really, really good. I didn't have any actual taco-sized tortillas, so I just used the big ones that I had and chopped them up a little bit smaller, and to be honest, they worked just fine. I also did experiment with different pans, and my cast iron definitely did the best job at making sure it didn't stick. This recipe is really good to make ahead because you can put it in the fridge and use it the next day. Part of the thing is that you want it to be solidified, he talks about, and he actually has a whole YouTube video as well talking you through exactly how to make it. These have definitely been added to my rotation and to my list, and it's nice to make something that feels familiar but has a different kind of execution. I also like with recipes like this that you can change things up a little bit, add different things to the sides, and also any kind of flavors that are in there as well. That's what I always look for in recipes, see how you can change them for your own preferences. One of the reasons why I love lentils so much and why I wanted to make this video is because they are really high in fiber and in protein. So they're a great all-rounder to add as an addition to your diet. I'm already pretty good on the protein front, but I have been trying to up my fiber. And so I just want to say a thank you to Momentous for sponsoring this portion of today's video. I've been using their creatine for a couple of months now, but I've just started using their Fiber Plus for gut and digestive health. And it's surprisingly easy just to incorporate this into your daily life. Most of the time I will just simply add it to my protein shake, as this is something I have most days anyway. And as someone who is working very hard on building muscle and trying to get myself as healthy for this next stage of life, the triple pathway formula designed for performance, not just digestion, has been really helpful. They use soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and resistant starch, each chosen to support gut health, metabolism, and recovery. Momentous always use ingredients you actually understand and that support your gut and not stress it out. If you're interested in checking out Momentous for yourself, you can get 35% off using my link in the description below. Thank you again to Momentous for sponsoring this portion of today's video. If you're looking for a recipe that's quite similar to the bolognese that I showed you at the beginning of this video, but you want something that's a bit more labor intensive because it has deeper, more complex flavors, then I would highly recommend checking out this roasting pan ragu. I've linked the recipe in the document below just in case you're wondering where all of these recipes are. And I really love this recipe. It's something that I've made probably at least maybe 15 times by this point. It has really interesting flavors like harissa, it has miso, it uses soy sauce, and because you roast it for quite a long time, I think almost an hour and 20 minutes, those flavors come together in such an incredibly rich and delicious sauce. For me personally, I like to use a ragu with pasta, but you could definitely make this and use it as a shepherd's pie base, or if you want to just have it with mashed potatoes or roasted potatoes, honestly. It's one of my favorite recipes for quite a good reason. If you're looking for something that feels really savory and comforting whilst also packed with flavor, especially umami flavor, then I think that this mushroom and black lentil stew could be a really good option to try. I'm a big fan of stews and soups and curries and things like that. Anything I can kind of pair with like rice or bread in any way, I'm a big fan of. But I really like this recipe because it gives you that creamy, luxurious flavor whilst still being very plant forward. I always add in extra kale at the end, even if recipes only call for a handful here, a handful there. I always do a whole bunch and I just chop it up a little bit smaller. For me, this really increases the fiber content, but I think it just pairs really nicely. One of the reasons why I always promote Nisha's recipes is because I think that they're incredibly thoughtful. She really thinks through how to pair flavors together whilst also trying to incorporate different greens and spices, different flavors and protein content and fiber. And this is one of those recipes where I don't feel like you have to compromise on anything. If you don't like mushrooms though, this is probably not the recipe for you, but if you do, then I highly recommend giving this one a go. This stew actually feels a little bit reminiscent of one of my favorite recipes of all time, which is a mushroom stoop. So if you want to kind of add in a little bit more, make it a little bit more hearty, you could always add in a few dumplings. This is something that I personally make with vegetables suet, water, and some parsley. It's very, very simple, but they're so fluffy and cloud-like and honestly one of my favorite things to add to any soups or stews. Or if you don't want to add in something that feels a little bit more effort and uncomplicated, you could honestly just add in way more lentils or something like wild rice, a little mixture, because that would definitely beef it up a little bit in a veggie way. Beluga lentils or black lentils are my favorite. I really like the taste and the size, but I also think that they're more substantial lentils, so they don't get mushy. And I think that they work really well in salads and then stews like this because they really hold up and keep their texture. If you like mushrooms and you like a hearty stew, then I would definitely give this recipe a try. So good. I think you can also freeze this and make this ahead, but I wouldn't put the kale in it. I would add the kale in it when you reheat it. But apart from that, I think it's a really good make ahead recipe too. Okay, for the next recipe, we're going to be making jerk lentils or Jamaican inspired lentils for the jerk seasoning. And this is by Catherine Perez. If you haven't followed her on Instagram, she is called Plant-Based RD, I think. And I initially followed her because I really wanted to get really good recipes from a registered dietitian that would help me to meet all my fiber goals and protein goals and just create really well-rounded meals that were based around plants. So for this recipe, I'm going to again use the black beluga lentils because they are my favorite and they hold up really well. But she just says 1 cup of dried lentils, so you can use whatever you want. This has a pretty extensive spice list, but I think that that's what makes it so delicious. My favorite jerk recipe of all time is actually by Rachel Amma, so I will put that in the Google document below as well. I think she uses that in making jerk tacos, but the jerk sauce that she makes is phenomenal, so I highly recommend checking that out. I'd also recommend checking out Rachel Amma's YouTube channel as well because she makes incredible recipes. But anyway, without further ado, let's put all the spices together and let's make these jerk lentils. When you have this many spices that go into a recipe, I think you can only think that it's going to be absolutely delicious. And I was not wrong. This recipe comes together very quickly and very easily. The only thing again that takes some time is when the lentils actually cook. For the previous recipe, I used the Instant Pot to cook the black lentils and it only took about 6 minutes. However, cooking some lentils on the stovetop doesn't really tend to take more than 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes if you're pushing it. But these black lentils, they are quite small, so they really don't tend to take more than about 20 minutes. That's one of the nice things I like about most of these recipes is there's a lot of prep at the beginning, but once you start cooking and you throw everything in together, then you tend to be able to leave things to cook for a while you get on with some other things. I didn't have all the extra things that Catherine used in her recipe to have as sides, but honestly, I didn't really need them. I felt like just pairing this with some rice was really delicious. Of course, having some more vegetables in there would have been a little bit more of a well-rounded meal. But for the purposes of this video, these jerk lentils are really delicious, they're really good, and I, of course, highly recommend you giving them a try. In the doc below, I've also included a few more recipes I didn't have time to put in this video. So be sure to check that out for all the information. There are, of course, so many more lentil recipes that I haven't tried or put in this video, but I will put a few more in the doc below. If you like this video, you might like my tofu video where I did overview, especially if you are a tofu skeptic. There are a ton of recipes in that video that I think will help you to kind of change your mind about tofu, so go and check that one out. I definitely have a part 2 for that tofu video coming soon as well, but if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing because it really helps to support my channel. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Go check out that tofu video.